Pickle, it's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score some great deals on award-winning Hondas. Stop by your Helpful Honda dealer today or visit ntxhondadealers.com to learn more. Honda.
Thank you, Honda.
Great cars.
Great cars. I'm sure they have another
Me
slogan.
car say go.
Car go fast. Car stop safely. Good cars. Honda. Thanks, Honda. If you got questions, high school football,
Our
college,
sales guy probably.
high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, Hawaiian shirts, what we're doing this weekend, if Pickle's going to fall in the river, ask him on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell. Ask him on YouTube, youtube.com/Dave Campbell's TF. Ask him on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dave Campbell's, or ask them on the text line, 972-532-6665, 972-5-DAME-OK, 972-532-MONK.
If I fell in the river, that's an instant. I meant to do that. I jumped.
No, it won't be. Nobody falls in the river on accident. All right, a few things before we get to your questions. You particularly have been on the road.
I've been a traveling
Fiend.
fool.
Wednesday, you and I went to Wichita Falls.
We did.
Went to scenic Wichita Falls. Beautiful. This is honest truth. I've been to Wichita Falls, obviously. I had never been to the campus of Midwestern State. That's a really pretty campus.
It is. I had been there a couple different times. By the way, before we get too far into that, shout out to my boy Chubbs for recommending Parkway
we were
Grill.
Gonna get there. So
Cheese sticks.
we go to Wichita Falls for the Texas Six-Man Coaches Association Clinic, and people asked me, they were like, not by people I mean my wife.
My wife.
She asked me, why do they not go to THSCA? Do they not go to the big one in San Antonio this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
And my answer is, yeah, they do.
Can.
Some of them do.
Yeah.
Some of them do. But you've got to remember that, like, while there are a lot of, it's like we think of it as a convention because we're on the convention hall, but it is a coaching school. There are seminars. Look at this piece of paper. These are all seminars, okay, about all these different things. And if you're a football coach, it is, I think, it may even be 100%, 11-man football. And so, yeah, listening to Steve Sarkisian talk about culture may be something that is of interest to the coach at, Rankin. But, like, hearing him talk about, like, scheme is just not going to work.
It doesn't correspond.
It doesn't correspond. So they have their own clinic wherein all the six-man coaches get together and they have their own clinic, and it comes around their big all-star games that happen there, the six-man all-star game as well as the basketball all-star games that they have for 1A. So we went down there, we set up the backdrop, we set up the camera, we set up the microphone, we talked with a number of coaches. I believe you can find them on TexasFootball.com, right?
Yeah, they're on our YouTube page. Click that subscribe button.
Had a lot of fun talking with those guys. Our buddy Terry Crawford, who may even be in the comments, hey coach, as well as guys like Garrett Avalos, the coach at Rankin, who's in our 40 under 40 that I'd actually never talked to before. We corresponded via email, but I'd never talked to him in person, and so we got to talk with him. We saw the great Vance Jones
with his awesome ring. It was so
big
cool.
ring, super cool to see him. We talked with 6 coaches. We interviewed 6 coaches. We talked with countless others, Josh Stanland at Jayton and all these guys. That we just had a fantastic time down there. And it's not. I was telling Pickle because you've never been to THSCA.
I have not. Yeah, the Pandy took that
because
away
the
from
Pandy.
me.
I said, this is like, imagine this, but then like times
a billion.
Like, it's just going to be enormous. And so, but it was a fantastic opportunity to go down there and talk with some six-man guys. They're always so welcoming for us and helping us. Coach Malcolm Cole at Avalon, who's the president of the Texas Six-Man Coach Association, always so helpful in welcoming for us nerds to come in and bother his friends. But yeah, and so we went to Wichita Falls, and then we stopped at Parkway Grill on the way out of town, as recommended by your buddy Chubbs.
Yep.
And first thing I noticed, and I tweeted about this, we were waiting to get seated because it was jumping at lunch.
Packed. The word must have spread around the six-man coaches clinic because there were suburban,
a lot of the suburban
school vans,
the official
all in
official
the
vehicle
lot.
of Texas high school football coaches is the school Suburban.
And at one point,
so
our
Petersburg was out there.
Our
we
poor waitress, came in and she was like, I'm so sorry, it's so busy. We didn't expect this. And we were like, wonder what's going on.
Yeah, because it's one of those things like we could explain it, but then it's like.
But then you get
it's
into
like you have to talk about what six-man football is. It's
and
like,
that's just a
not
sit-down conversation.
It's just not worth it. And be like, no, I don't know either.
I don't know.
But we were waiting to get seated, and I look up on the wall and I see a photo, and I'm like,
I recognize
that photo. And sure enough, it is a page from the 2020 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. It's the recruiting divider, showing Wichita Falls Rider quarterback Jacob Rodriguez, and it's a signed page from him that they ripped out and framed, and it was like he had signed it. He's now at Virginia playing quarterback for the Cavs, and it was super cool. I was like, oh, look, that's just our magazine. Like, I picked that photo. And I'm decorating your restaurant, apparently. But the food was great, and they recommended the
cheese sticks.
The cheese sticks, which were they were a godsend. They were not from this earth.
Yeah,
they were not from this earth.
You love to hate on Mott sticks because I love them so much, and those were
next level.
So good.
Those were next level. Those
from
were
a Mott stick connoisseur like myself.
They were elite. If the Mott sticks that you get at your favorite fast food establishment, and I will ask you not to name them, if they are checkers, this is 4D chess.
Yes.
I mean, it's different.
They were
very good. And then yesterday, you were out in Arlington, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Me, Shahan, and Mallory were at the second day of Big 12 Media Days. So Will, Shahan, and Mallory were down there the first day. I came for the second day, but it was really cool. They're Baylor, Texas, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and then Kansas was supposed to be there. They weren't allowed to fly out of Lawrence yesterday morning, so they had to come on via Zoom. So that was interesting. But yeah, it was really cool. You know, Coach Sark was in the house. There was a big buzz about that, as there is anytime Texas gets a new coach. But cool to see him there. Got to see some friendly media faces. That was really cool. It's like we're all friends on Twitter, but we finally all got to meet each other, so that was good. But no, it was a good time, well-run event.
I don't like what Remy Monaghan had to say about you, though.
Yes, that we took
I don't like that.
Her favorite.
Don't like that.
Her favorite DCTF employees.
Don't like that.
So,
don't like that at all.
But no, it was really funny to interact with those people so much through social media, and then we were finally all in the same place. But yeah, a lot of good friends down there. Saw our buddy Mike Roach, Nick Harris, all them. So good times down in Arlington.
Yeah.
And we have a couple different interviews. Mallory got an interview with Spencer Sanders, which, if you remember, was the 2017 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year.
Great Spencer Sanders.
She asked him about that, and we got to talk with him, and yeah, it was cool.
And Greg Eisworth from Iowa State,
from Iowa State. Yeah, he was a South Grand Prairie product. So Mallory Malpal, which I still haven't heard the story on.
What's her name? Malpal.
Okay, well, Malpal caught up with them. Those are on our YouTube along with all the six-man coaching stuff. So YouTube is popping right now.
Yeah. So check out our YouTube page.
And I'm sure Shahan does Shahan stuff. I don't know what he's doing.
He's got pieces going up.
Yeah.
He's usually cooking, and he was all dressed up.
He was.
There was the photo of him going around, and I gotta tell you, do you know who I think I've mentioned this on the show before. Do you know who the biggest Shahan Jayaraja fan in the world is?
I don't know, you.
Even more than me, and I love Shahan.
Yeah.
You know who loves Shahan even more than I do?
Who?
My wife.
My wife.
She thinks he hung the moon. She thinks he is the great, and like.
I thought she thought Ish was the greatest.
She also thinks Ish is the greatest.
I am like
the last ranked member of the Dave Campbell's crew.
Well, that's
everybody's.
That's in everybody's book.
That doesn't sound right. All right, let's get to your questions. High school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance. Get them in the comments, and we will answer as many as we can. And by as many as we can, we'll go for about 8 to 10 minutes. What do we got?
Up first, can Tep please explain how Tep wife could possibly put up with him for 9 years?
No. No, habit at this point. Like, it's just, it's one of those things that is just easier to do it than not at this point. No.
There's legal fees involved if she tries to get rid of you at this point. Like, if she was going to do it, you got to do it in the dating phase.
Yeah, there's a kid involved. It's tough. No. My wife and I met in college. My wife and I have been together. Oh, boy. My wife and I have been together for 15 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're about to date yourself here.
My wife and I dated a long time before we got married, and we met in 2006 and in college. And she's from up there. She's from Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
and met, and she just I knew right away. I'm sure I had to convince her.
Oh, absolutely.
But I knew right away.
You probably held her down. Listen,
please.
You're gonna love me one day.
I got nothing else, darling. Yeah, and so she's been able to put up with me. I think she doesn't think I'm funny, so I don't really know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
I think you know what
you
it is. Okay, you know what it is.
did you
Here,
put some
okay,
spell on her?
here's the thing, and this I don't like to brag on myself very much, but I will be honest. I try very hard. I try very hard, especially on her behalf.
Yes.
I try very hard to make sure that she knows that I love her every day. That's
effort.
that is what effort.
You
effort.
are the hustle player. You're a hustle guy.
I am the guy. I'm the guy off the bench who's like, I'm gonna give you. I'm only in for 8 minutes, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna
full
give you
speed.
Exactly right.
Literally.
I'm gonna be forcing turnovers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be slapping.
Defense wins championship.
Exactly right. I'm a hustle player, and so I'm the guy who
not an offensive guy, but you can keep her from running away with those defensive shuffles.
I'm the guy who I'm a 3-and-D guy. I'm the guy who the $5 flowers on the way home.
That's good.
And the little things like that.
You don't have
I'm a hustle.
to be.
I'm an effort guy. I'm an effort guy.
Yeah, you don't have to be the best at everything if you give everything your all. I respect that
men,
fully.
if I can give you any dating advice, trying goes a long way. Just try.
You don't got to be good at it. Just
you don't
try.
have to be good. No, you don't have to be good. You don't have to be rich because God knows I ain't that.
Journalism.
But just try. And so I think that's. I think she's like, you know what? I think
he's a dweeb.
I think she respects my hustle.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing.
I like it.
So
yeah.
And now she's pot committed with a kid. So
I was going to say, I respect that completely.
All right, what's next?
Rob Hadaway, of all the high school football games you've watched in person, what is the most unique thing you have seen? For example, his is when Riley Dodge threw up right before throwing a touchdown.
Sure, that's of course
pretty
a
unique
singular event. The most unique, I would say, I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but you go back to the 2019 5A Division I state championship game.
Okay.
The Randy Masters punt return. Illegal kick return for Shadow Creek
from a sophomore.
Like that is I've never seen anything like that before or since, and I don't think I ever will, because like not only on a big stage, like for those who don't remember, Denton Ryan's punting away to Shadow Creek,
and they stopped. It was like a 3rd and out. Like they stopped.
Yeah, it was 3 and out and stuff like that. They had to punt.
Yeah.
Snap goes over the punter's head. The guy goes to chase it down. I think he realizes he's not going to have time to pick it up and punt it. Mm-hmm. And so what he does is he kicks it off the ground.
Yep.
That is illegal if you didn't know that. You cannot do that. That is called illegal kicking. It is an extremely rare rule because nobody ever does it.
Yeah.
So they kick it. The referees rightly throw the flag. So it's going to be a safety. Mm-hmm. It's no matter what. It's a penalty in the end zone. It's going to be a safety. But the ball gets kicked, and it's kind of like dying on like the 30-ish yard line.
Yeah, but it's not out of bounds.
And the punt returner is Randy Masters, who I think was a sophomore at the time.
Yeah.
Bobo. And everyone's just kind of standing there looking at it, thinking the play's like dead. And he just sees it. He goes, all right, I'm going to pick it up and go. And sure enough, it's a lot. Like, nobody else knows this, apparently.
They're all like running off the field at this point.
But it's a live ball. And he picks up the ball and runs it in untouched for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And ends up going for a touchdown. And basically kind of ends up being the difference in that game, which Denton Ryan's thrown in the end zone at the final play. That's the most unique play as far as the most singular play I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the awareness. And honestly, like it's awareness, yes. But I also don't have any illusions that Randy Masters knew what he was doing. Like, I don't think Randy Masters is this, like, expert, and I mean this in a nice way.
Yeah.
As a sophomore, he's a 15 or 16-year-old sophomore. I don't think he has this deep knowledge of the fact that that's a live ball.
Yeah.
What I think he's doing is he's thinking, all right, I'm going to play to the whistle. I didn't hear a whistle. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go.
Which shows so much about coaching.
That's just instinct, and that's awareness, and just like football IQ.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that has nothing to do with knowing the rule book. I'm sure Randy Masters knows the rule book, but that's all instinct.
Brad Butler instilled in his kids, don't stop until you hear
go to the whistle.
Just go.
Go to the whistle.
Yeah.
And, like, what's the worst that can happen there? The worst that can happen is,
you throw the ball back at the ref,
right,
and it's
exactly.
still a safety.
Right. So it's like, yeah, that's the most singular event I've ever seen in person at a football game.
I agree. The one other thing, and I wasn't there for this, and this isn't Texas high school football, so I'm totally ignoring this question.
Sure.
Kind of. But the fake punt return that North Texas ran against Arkansas was, I wasn't there in person, but we were watching it live, and Keegan Brewer.
I was going to look him up.
Just takes.
And now
he's at the.
He's a firefighter.
Yeah, him and Eileen are married, and he's a firefighter out there. But that was the most surreal. We're sitting there watching it, and we're going, he took off running. Oh my God, he's running. Like, he's going. And and of course that took like social media by storm too, but we were watching it live and lost our
Because another one that springs to mind in another state championship is the end of everyone talks about the Highland Park Manville comeback for Manville or for Highland Park, but I feel like not everybody talks about the final play where they're throwing the ball and it's completed at like the 2 and he's tackled 2 yards short of what would have been a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
But like we've seen that before. Like we've seen Hail Marys be completed. We've seen Hail Marys be like even the North Shore Duncanville Hail Mary. We've seen Hail Marys work just on that big stage. So the question was like, how was the question phrased? Something like the most unique or singular thing you've seen. That's the most singular thing I've seen in person. Yeah, but
in person for sure.
But Riley puking and throwing a touchdown, which I know he's sick of that highlight. I know he is. All right, what's next?
Recruiting question. Yep. How much have y'all dug into Jaden Porter out of Lorena? Which, shout out Lorena. They sent us shirts today, which was awesome. Had a great freshman year and started to receive camp invites from teams like Bama. Good chance to be a D1 kid.
Yes.
If you're receiving camp invites as a freshman from Bama, D1 sounds right up your alley.
Right. Well, and here's a guy who is just going to be a sophomore. So, to be entirely honest, not a ton. They were good last year. Lorena was good last year, 9-3 record. He was a big reason why. And I think he's a guy that, like, this is me personally. I don't pay attention to players in a really serious way as recruits until the end of their sophomore year.
Yes.
At which point we have a full, because I think that there's a lot of players that go out there and do big things as a freshman and a sophomore. I'm not to say that. But there's also a number of players who can't get on the field until they're a junior.
Yes.
And so there's the apples to waiting for an apples to apples comparison is when everybody should be able to get on the field.
Yes.
If you are a big time playmaker, right? If you are a guy who's going to go FBS, right? And especially if you're a guy who's going to go Power 5, you probably better be playing as a junior. If you're not, then I have some serious questions. Or maybe there can be situations where if you're a quarterback, there can only be one of those guys.
Right.
Things like that. But I would say
receiver, running back, you should be up on varsity.
Jaden Porter had a spectacular freshman year. He's a guy I'm very interested in. He's a guy that I think could be very big. I want to see what he does as a sophomore, and then I want to see like how he ends up stacking up with other guys. So that's also me. I know Greg Powers is on this kid. Like I know that for a fact.
Absolutely.
And so
we focus recruiting, but we're not
me
recruiting.
As 50,000-foot view recruiting guy. He's not firmly on my radar yet, simply because of how young he is. Through no fault of his own.
Be born quicker.
Yeah, be born earlier, dude. But I know Powers, a guy who he really starts paying attention to these guys when they're playing if you're playing varsity ball at all. So yeah, that's where I'm at on Jaden Porter. Good player though, really good player.
Yeah.
Think Lorena has a chance to be really good. What's next? Let's do 2 more.
What is your favorite fruit? I can't narrow this down.
What is your favorite fruit?
I'm big #team fruit.
Fruit's great.
I love fruit.
I'm a basic B. We all know this. I love an apple.
Apple time.
Apple time. Apple time. There was a time in my life when I was in the process of murdering Fat Greg. that I literally ate an apple a day. I literally would start.
It keeps the
every
doctor
morning.
away.
I went to the doctor a lot. I would go to.
But clearly your apples helped that.
The apples helped, and I became like. There was a time in my life where I was like a true apple snob. I'm serious.
Okay.
Where, like
Okay,
I would tell you, I'd be like, all right, like Honeycrisp, good but overpriced.
Yes,
like Honeycrisp
absolutely.
are excellent. They're very good. But the value apples, as far as bang for your buck, Fuji apples, okay,
Gala
apples,
Pink Lady. Yes,
those are the three.
All of they're red, but not too red. Like the pink apples really slap.
Let me tell you this, and like Granny Smith is its own thing. It's like that's
Yeah.
such like if you want a sour apple, you're going for that.
Yeah.
Let me be very clear about something though. My hardline stance on apples. The word delicious is 100% a lie.
Yes, it's
every
awful.
single time.
Red Delicious is terrible.
Every single time. Red Delicious is a trash apple.
That's a school lunch sack apple.
That's a garbage apple. Throw it away. Stop buying. And you know what? Ooh, you got me going. Stop buying the bags of apples.
Yeah,
okay?
they're not
Go pick
good.
out your own.
Yep.
There's plenty of them in the grocery store. Be discerning about your apples. You might pay a little bit more, but it's worth it. It's worth it because what they do is that they're gonna hide the trash apples there. Let's be better about our apple consumption.
Yeah,
people.
Fuji or Gala take number one, I think. See, I have such a. This is such a loaded question.
Here we go.
I'm gonna say that I really think that that watermelon is probably my favorite fruit. And the reason I say that is because watermelon to me is very seasonal.
I was gonna say that feels like you. That's a I don't want to say cultural thing, but that's like a you growing up and
yes.
You,
summertime is my favorite time,
right.
and summertime means watermelon by the pool or lake
with people you love.
Yes,
right, exactly. That is like it's a
yes.
whole package.
Yes, there's more to it.
If you will.
It's like people how they feel about pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks. Like when the season hits, you don't stop until the season is done.
Look,
watermelon and crawfish are a season thing for
Pickle,
me, not pumpkin spice.
You're talking to the man who loves Thanksgiving so much.
Yeah,
right.
That you did.
I'm not here to tell you that turkey's the greatest food in the world.
No,
it's not. But I love turkey because because of what it represents, because of the season it is. So.
Other than that, I would say year-round, I love pineapple. Big fan of pineapple. So
don't put pineapple on pizza, though. Last one.
Definitely put pineapple on pizza.
Give me an ender. Oh, no. Or maybe we're done. By the way, we're off Monday and Tuesday. You should probably know that. Are we done?
Do you put salt on watermelon? Do you like watermelon? Do you put salt on fruit at all? Because there's two fruits. Okay, there were two fruits back in the day that my mom would always put. It was cantaloupe, which is an underrated fruit, and watermelon.
Okay, well honeydew.
Tahini on watermelon is also super great.
Honeydew stinks. Honeydew is a trash fruit.
You don't like honeydew?
No, it's trash fruit.
I like honeydew. By the way, tahini on cucumbers is an amazing snack. Fantastic.
I don't think I've ever eaten tahini.
You're missing out.
Okay. Do you want to fight? You feel
quite literally, yes.
That's right. All right, here we go. It's happening.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.